Thank goodness for the museum, because we wouldn't be able to get in the door at our house. It would be so crowded.
Over the past 50-plus years, Dr. William T. Price, a retired Amarillo neurosurgeon, and his wife, Jimmy Dale, have amassed a collection of hundreds of pieces of historically significant, artistically impactful sculptures, prints, and textiles from across Southeast Asia.
Right after I've completed all my training, 5 years after medical school in neurosurgery, I got called into the Army. And I arrived in Tokyo on a Friday afternoon, and this doctor from New York came in and says, I collect Japanese art, and I'm going to be out in Tokyo looking for art tomorrow. Would you like to go? So I did go. And then when the war ended, I went back to Japan, and I was there a year. And the war was over, so I had lots of time. So I spent that time collecting, looking at Japanese art and collecting.
Now, before that doctor asked you to go out with him, did you know anything about Japanese art or art?
No, I never thought about art. I only thought about medicine. That's right. I just got interested in them, you see. And it's a real interesting subject. You can look around here. It's obvious that this is great art.
Price eventually settled in Amarillo, where he married his wife, Jimmy Dale, in 1964. Together, they would travel the world as Dr. Price's passion for collecting grew beyond woodblock prints.
When we married, he started collecting rugs because we needed them for the floor. And so when he would go to meetings all over, he would go to the rug shops with his dimensions of the room, you know, and he fell in love with the rugs doing that. Then the first time we went to India was with the Textile Museum in Washington, and they would be talking about the rugs and this and that and the weaving and all of that, but Bill's eyes would start wandering. And you have to see him do that because it's really cute. You'll be thinking you have his whole attention, and he's going like this. He doesn't stop looking around. And the owner of the Textile Museum there had us over to dinner at her house. And in this plate glass, huge plate glass window, there was a statue like that. And he just fell in love. You know, he just couldn't take his eyes off of it. And pretty soon, one arrived at our house. When he did all of his slipping away, you know, he would be buying things.
I think collectors in general, once they get the collecting bug, which Dr. Price certainly had, and others, but when you get that bug and you can't feed that habit enough. It takes a special collector to really focus in on an aspect, you know, say Indian and Southeast Asian sculpture, and really focus on collecting that in depth, not just say, oh, I have one of these, I have a couple of those, I have a couple of those, you know, but to really collect, you know, with enthusiasm.
I'm the enabler.
And what does that mean?
To his addiction. And he knows I say that to everyone.
Eventually, the collection outgrew their Olson neighborhood home.
How many pieces do you have altogether now, do you know?
I don't know. But I can tell you this, we've given the museum 336 pieces. The reason I started giving it, I had the house full and had statues in the backyard where the weather and the sprinkler system were doing them harm. And so to get the statues out of the backyard and save them, I started giving it, I made this gift to the Amarillo Museum of Art. And I've enjoyed seeing it out and letting other people see it, you see.
Thank goodness for the museum, because we wouldn't be able to get in the door at our house. It would be so crowded.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a constant learning experience for me. Well, they really changed the entire scope of the permanent collection. I mean, before this gift and before they got started giving to the museum, we were primarily collecting American art and contemporary post-war American art. It really redefined what the museum's collection was, for sure. Oh, I think our collection stands among most all collections in terms of the content. I mean, there are definite pieces in this collection that the Prices have had and that have given to the museum that are, you know, top-notch pieces. I've been to, let's say, the Dallas Museum of Art and the Crow collection, and the Kimball is the only one that might have slightly better, but they collect the best in the world of everything that there is. So, but even some of the pieces that we have here, you know, could be envious of that. So it really is a top-tier collection of Indian and Southeast Asian sculpture and textiles too.